Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Mom.
and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, of course, we always love doing this. And Mom, what movie are we speaking about here today?
Piece by piece.
Yes, and so this is our final movie discussion here for 2024. And Mom, I'll let you go ahead and tell the viewers about this movie.
Alrighty. I'm going to actually give one line to tell you what the movie is about, and then we'll go into a little bit more depth about it. But overall, this movie is about Pharrell Williams, and it's about his life and how it's told.
And thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and speaking about the how it's told part, his story is told through a Lego format.
Yes, it is. And I will say, it was very interesting. It's something that I haven't seen personally before. I've seen, of course, the Lego movies that you have suggested and your brother have suggested, but I have not seen it told in the format such as a documentary. And I thought this was kind of ingenious, and I really loved it.
Yeah, it definitely was such a was an ingenious move, and I felt that it was the best of both worlds in having both a documentary about Pharrell Williams, but yeah, I mean, but I feel like this adds so much more imagination to it, and I feel like gives a more lively approach to the storytelling.
Yes, you're very true, Brandon. It was a very lively approach. I thought it was colorful. I love the way they incorporated, you know, the aspects around his life and how they were able to use Legos just to do it. It was great.
Yeah, and so overall, like, what were your anticipations heading into this film, and would you say that this met your expectations?
I thought the movie did meet my expectations. I wasn't sure what to expect when I watched this movie. I mean, I know when I first looked up, I said, "Oh, another Lego movie," and then when I heard it was about Pharrell, I was like, "Okay, so this could be interesting. Is this supposed to be some sort of a documentary?" And then once I read up a little bit and saw that it was a documentary, I just thought it was really interesting the way it was told.
Yeah, and for me, I knew that Pharrell Williams was getting a movie, and I knew that there was going to be some sort of new, Lego movie. But when I realized that they were one and the same, yeah, I definitely was really intrigued and was trying to figure out how they were going to pull it off. Like, pull, more to the Lego side, more to the Pharrell Williams side. How would the two intersect? And I feel like it pulled it off so well.
It did. It really did. And then I don't know if the audience knows, we're a little bit familiar with the area itself. And so, because we were familiar with the area, it was just kind of fun to see how they incorporated the particular area of the movie in places where we have seen before.
Yeah, so definitely was interesting. I mean, I always find it interesting whenever we see our area depicted or even mentioned, like in media, and so to see something that is, I mean, truly focused within it, I thought was so interesting, and I'm so glad that we're getting local representation.
Yeah, it is nice to see the local representation.
Yeah, and I will say that having watched this, I learned so much that I didn't previously know about Pharrell Williams.
No, I had no idea how much he did previously. And so it was nice to see how much he's done. It was nice to see his story told from his point of view. Just to let the audience know, he did incorporate interviews within the story, still by Lego version. But the interviews, because it was done by Lego versions, because I've seen interviews, of course, documentaries with a lot of interviews, but because this was done by Lego version, it just kind of kept your interest. And so I thought they did a great job.
And I like that, even though it was, of course, told, with Legos, is that it was still very much a real story. Although Pharrell Williams did not go to space, as per the lovely credits.
Yes, yes, yeah, that was interesting.
But other than that, like I said, I like that it still felt like a documentary, but it was that the Lego part made it so lively, and I felt that it made it where his story has so much to offer that it wasn't just like, oh, a documentary about somebody, that it was like, oh, like, I'm intrigued by this because we have Lego pieces that we're familiar with, and we're able to tell a comprehensive story, but in the way that he wants it to be told.
Yes, yes, and for those who have not seen it, his songs are incorporated within the movie itself, also, which I thought they did a very nice job of incorporating his songs in it. He had songs that I had, of course, heard, but I had no idea that he either wrote or had music that kind of went along with it, and so that was fun to see. And things that we were very familiar with, we had no idea that he actually did. He had a large part in some of the music that we do here today.
And I don't know about for you, but I know for me, I'm not per se the biggest music person, but I learned so much. I would love to dive in and research, having seen this film, and especially given how much local talent that there was to international music figures that had all interacted with him, and even some of the backstory behind some of his songs, which I didn't even know that there were so many out there, like you're saying.
Yeah, we had no idea.
And what I found was so interesting, though, was that even though, of course, I think we're all familiar with the song "Happy," is that there's so much more to to the story, even the background of that song itself. And I actually had no idea that the song was even made for a movie, that being Despicable Me too.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. Didn't have any idea. And it was nice to see what kind of inspired him to kind of to write that song also.
Yeah, and so I believe you had done a little bit of the research, but I know something that I want to research a little bit later is to see, sort of who voices who, in the sense that he had so many people from his life that were featured within the film, and so I'm kind of curious as to which ones were voiced by the actual people or not.
Yeah, they said. Well, when I looked online, and keep in mind this is kind of Wikipedia, but when I looked online, it said that most of the voices were done by the true people themselves, and so which was nice to know. Yeah, if I remember correctly, some of this was done during COVID, and so some of this was done by video, some of this was done by phone. And I just think it's great that they were able to use actually the true voices of the people to actually give their voice to their part of their life with Pharrell.
Yeah, and so I'm so glad, like I said, that it was able to, to be authentic in that regard. Yeah, I'm always a big advocate for authentic storytelling, but mom, the big question always becomes, would you watch this again?
Yes, I would, because as I kind of mentioned to you earlier today, there were a couple quotes in the movie, and I didn't write them down at the time, and I wish I had, and because I would have incorporated them within our kind of thoughts for today. But yes, I would go back and rewatch this movie. Now that I've seen it the first time, I kind of know how in depth they go into his life. I'd love to kind of rewatch again just to see once more what songs did he do, what other songs did he do that I just didn't pick up on. And so I yes, I will. To answer your question, I will rewatch the movie again.
Yeah, I definitely would as well, and I definitely take my notes, go into detail, just because I thought it was just so interesting, the way that they were able to deliver this, and I kind of hope that this inspires some more creative storytelling going forward. I know that we're speaking about for some shows and movies that I like it when shows, whether we like it or not, and movies as well, are able to go outside the boundaries and to have fun with it. And so I'm so glad this was able to do that and excel at it.
Yep, I am too, Brandon. I am too.
And and so like I said, Mom, is there anything else that you want to say for this video and to help wrap up 2024?
No, I highly recommend this movie. I think that we ended this on a good note for the many movies that we saw throughout the year. And so I look forward to tackling some more in 2025.
Yes, I absolutely do. We have one more thing, of course, that's going out a little bit later. But, Mom, I hope that you have an amazing New Year's Eve.
Same to you, Brandon. And thank you guys for watching us.
And we'll see you next year.
All right. Bye bye, everybody.